friends, and happy spring. I'm pretty sure I say this every season, but I think this might be my favorite time of year. The frost is melting and little signs of life are starting to pop up all over. One of my favorite things to do in early spring is to get my garden ready, and I thought I would take you along on that process today. So we have quite a bit to do on our agenda. We have some pest control things to take care of. We are going to be weeding and taking soil samples to send in for testing. And of course, we have to plant some things, including all these beautiful seeds. So really excited to spend this spring day with you all, and I can't wait to get out in the sunshine. Here are some of the things that I'm going to be growing this year. I went a little bit overboard on flowers. If you want to see a full list of everything that I'm growing, you can go over to my Patreon. I have forgotten how much I adore being in my greenhouse. It is just my special space. It makes me feel so calm and happy. But the soil in these planters is looking a little bit crusty dusty, so we have to leave the sanctuary for a moment to head to the plant nursery. Speaking of happy places, this is another one of my favorites. I just absolutely love all the beautiful handwritten signs and the flowers, and they also have fresh fruits and vegetables here a lot of the time in the spring and summer, which is so fun. It's like a farmer's market that's always open. I was very tempted by some of these seeds, but when it comes to gardening, I feel like my eyes are always bigger than my plot of soil, I guess. I never have enough room to grow all the things that I want to, and one day I would love to live on a proper homestead with acreage, but for now, my beautiful backyard will do. I am looking for some little peat tablets. I'm gonna try one starting tray with the peat and one with traditional soil and see which one does better. While I'm here, I picked up some of my favorite Alaska fish fertilizer for organic gardening, and of course, I had to walk around and admire all the beautiful plants and flowers. This place just brings me so much joy. Back home now, and I bought quite a few little plant friends, but before I can plant them, we need to take care of the soil. So the first thing we're going to be doing is weeding. Weeding can be kind of an arduous task, and it is a cyclical one as well, which makes it feel a little bit Sisyphean sometimes. As soon as I pull a weed, it seems another springs up to take its place, but we have to be able to protect all of our beautiful flowers, like these tulips and ranunculus that are already coming out. So I keep at it and try to stay consistent, doing a little bit every day. This is such a great excuse to get out in the sun regularly, which is so good for my mental health. And I also recently read that some of the chemicals that are in soil can help fight depression when they come in contact with your skin. So if you see me not wearing gloves, that's why. It only took me about an hour to weed this bed, and I got a whole pot of weeds, so that's very exciting. And next up, we are going to do a soil test. So this is my first year doing this. I just recently learned that you can send soil in for nutrient testing when I read the Flora Farm Cut Flowers book. So I'm taking some of these garden pots that I always hoard when I get new plants, and I'm marking the locations for each one. I'm going to be taking soil samples from a few different places in the garden. First up is this main bed where I do most of my flower gardening. And the way that you do this is you dig at least a dozen holes 6 to 8 inches down and get just a little bit of soil from each. And then you mix it all up in the pot and you send 1 cup of that into the University of Massachusetts for testing. I saw quite a few earthworms while I was doing this, which is such a good sign, and it means that the soil is probably in better condition this year than it was last year. Next, I'm doing this bed by the wall. This is mostly used for berries and lettuce. And then I'm also doing this little bed underneath the playroom wall. Last year I didn't have a lot of success growing anything here, but this year I do have some hyacinth and some ranunculus coming up, so I'm hoping that I can give it the nutrients it needs. And I'm just leaving those to dry out before I ship them out to the testing center. Of course, I had to pick up some flowers while I was out and about just to celebrate the beginning of the spring season. So I got these that I've never had before. It's called Helleborus, I think. also got these beautiful orange ranunculus. I love ranunculus, and I am growing some as well, but I always like to have some that are already blooming that I get from the nursery just to usher in the season. Like I mentioned, the soil on our property is not the best, and I want to give these plants their best chance to bloom and grow, and I'm so excited that Pennington is sponsoring today's video. Their Alaska fish fertilizer is a rich source of organic matter to enhance the strength of your vegetables, fruits, and flowers. This 511 fish plant food is one of my all-time favorite products for organic gardening. It's actually made from fish, and it's great for all outdoor plants. And this is huge for me because the biggest thing that I struggle with gardening is the lack of nutrients in our native soil. So I'm just measuring the fertilizer with a tablespoon and putting it into my watering can, and then all I have to do is water my plants, and they get all those good nutrients. When I was at the garden center, the employee was telling me that the Native Americans in this area used to actually bury a fish underneath their crops so that as the crops grew and the fish decayed, the plant would be able to take all of the nutrients. And this is basically just a more modern version of that. For the flowers, I'm also using the Alaska More Bloom fertilizer. This promotes vigorous root growth and helps you get more abundant, colorful flowers, which you all know from last year I am all about. I'm growing over a dozen different varieties of flowers this year, and I want to make sure that I get the biggest yield out of all of them so I can do all the bouquets for me and also for my friends and family, and I'm so excited to have this amazing duo of products to help support me in that goal. The next not so fun task that I have to do is some pest control. So last year my plum tree got plum pocket disease, and this year I'm trying to prevent that by spraying it with neem oil before it starts to bud and flower. And I'm also spraying some deer and rabbit repellent around my flowers because we did have quite a problem with the rabbits last year. And now it's finally the time that I've been waiting for. I finally get to plant all of the goodies that I got at the garden center, as well as start my seeds. One thing that I really want to do this year is have an herb garden. I had one for about a month last year before I let it die in the heat of the greenhouse, unfortunately. So I'm trying some different ones this year to see if I have any better luck. I'm doing sage and thyme, and they are already making the greenhouse smell so good. Then I'm preparing my seed trays to start all of my little seeds, which is so exciting. So I'm putting all of these little peat discs in here. I wish they were a little bit smaller. I probably should have checked the size, but it's fine. They ended up working out. I'm just watering those so that they get big and grow. They are very compact when you get them, and then you add water and they plump up. And then, like I mentioned, I'm doing a bit of an experiment this year. So the other tray, I'm just putting some organic soil, and we're gonna plant some seeds in each and see which tray does better so that I know for next year. Something about growing fresh flowers from scratch just brings me so much joy, and I'm so excited that I can also share that joy and that love of the outdoors with my kids. Rowan actually came in and helped me plant just a few seeds before he got bored. I'm giving him his own little garden plot this year, so I'm really hoping that as the months go on, he gets excited to tend to it and help me water it and do weeding. And then all those babies are ready to go. I'm gonna put the little greenhouse cover on and wish them the best. We'll check on them in about a week. Just like that, a whole day in the garden has gone by, and it is time for me to clean up my space. I love tending to this greenhouse space, and putting it back together after a day of hard work always feels so good. I'm so excited that the season has finally come to get my hands dirty again and work with all of these beautiful plants and flowers, and I can't wait to bring you guys along for the rest of that journey. And again, happy spring! See you all next time.